Luxon came to Rapturous at an event in Auckland. "You reached for hope and voted for change," he said. The supporters mentioned slogan of the campaign, which promised to put country again. Prime Minister Chris Hipkins, who spent only 9 months after taking over from Ardern in January, said he was looking to accept Luxon late on Saturday. Hipkins said it wasn't the result. "Orum But I want you to be proud of what we have achieved in the last 6 years." He said. Ardern unexpectedly resigned as the Prime Minister in January and said that it was no longer sufficient in the tank to make business justice. A landslide won the last election, but people tired of COVID-19 restrictions decreased their popularity and inflation threatened the economy. He left the departure to seize 45-year-old Hipkins as a leader. Under the proportional voting system of Zealand, 53-year-old Luxon is expected to establish an alliance with the Liberter's Law Party. In meantime, Labour Party, led by Hipkins, was only getting more than 25% of votes, about half of ratio he had achieved in last elections under Ardern, and as a result, if the Labour loses its place, it sinks, especially to absorb the National. Ardern's former voters' seat was in a strict race for Albert Mountain. The Koltuk has long been a Labour castle and has been held by another former Work Prime Minister, Helen Clark. Seat National Party candidate Melissa Lee. Associated Press felt excited, but also tense about the final result on Mount Albert. He said, "It has been Labour since 1946. He was the biggest, safest worker seat forever," Lee said while door knockers. People said that they were tired current government and they are interested in status of economy and cost life. David Farrar, a conservative surveyor for a long time, said that after all the votes were counted, Labour's chances of holding the seat was still good. However, his first impression of voting throughout the country was a bloodbath for the left. Luxon promised a pressure on tax reductions and crime for medium-income earnings. Hipkins promised free dental care for people under the age of 30 and the removal of sales taxes on fruits and vegetables. The government, who is in danger in the election, has a relationship with the native Māori. In days after receiving the reins in January, Hipkins promised a crisis after deadly floods. And then a cyclone hit New Zealand. The hot spring air in the largest city seemed to encourage voters, and some of the votes were formed. Early voting was lower than the last elections. During a 6-week election campaign, both Hipkins and Luxon toured the country and pulled it to the cameras. At beginning of week, Luxon, who served as general manager of both Unilever Canada and Air New Zealand, said he would hit gangs in an energy crowd in Wellington. Luxon, "I must tell you, crime in this country out of control," he said, "and we will restore the law and order and restore personal responsibility." Luxon A.